Natchitoches' home for urban vibes. And now, you're listening to Talk Back Natchitoches with Pastor Steve Harris.
Good morning! It's Talk Back Natchitoches and yours truly, Pastor Stephen Harris, and it is Juneteenth. My, Liberation Day. And listen, what we're going to do is get this party started early. I want you to share, like, and invite Lottie Dottie and everybody. And we're going to begin as we always do with the word of prayer. Lord God, how we thank you, praise you, glorify, magnify, and lift you up. For Lord, this is truly the day that you've made, and I'm going to rejoice and be exceedingly glad in it. Lord, I thank you that it was not because we've been so good and we did everything right, but it's because of grace and mercy that we're here today. And because of that, Lord, we have an attitude of gratitude for all that you've done and all that you're going to do. We ask that you would bless this segment. We ask all of these blessings in the matchless and marvelous name of Jesus Christ. We do pray. Amen and amen. Listen, on last night, we were blessed to be joined by Congressman Cleo Fields, who gave us a whole lot of information. It was both black and white, just males and females. Everyone was there, and we thank Congressman Fields for being there. And I want to apologize for my not being able to make it to the event for Mr. Claude Benjamin. But I try to get around to where I need to be to let folks know that we're watching and we're celebrating everyone who's bold enough to run for office. My, listen. Anyway, listen, we have a wonderful guest here today, and I'm going to allow Attorney Johnson to introduce herself and introduce herself to you, our listening audience. Good morning. Tell us, our listeners, some things about yourself.
Okay, well, my name is Attorney Shayla Johnson. I am 29 years old. I am originally from St. Petersburg, Florida. However, I was raised in Natchitoches, Louisiana, so that's home for me. I was raised by my grandmother, Miss Vivian Johnson. I graduated from Natchitoches Central High School in 2014, and graduated with my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Oh, wow. And I worked in the law enforcement sector for a little while before taking on my journey to law school.
You carried a gun?
Yes, sir.
Beauty and brain?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my God. Yeah. All of that wrapped up into one. Well, listen, what inspired you to pursue a career in law?
So what inspired me to pursue a career in law? I guess the overarching issue of justice. There's different avenues to partake on that journey and ensuring justice, but my main goal was to get into a capacity where I could help advocate for people and also be the change that I wanted to see. We see a lot that goes on in the world, and myself. Yeah. And so that's what drove me into entering into the legal profession, so I can help others that look like me, talk like me, walk like me, So.
Well, you hear a lot when you're around in courtrooms and things, and I've been my share of being character witnesses and seeing people being railroaded. And I'm not sure exactly. Are you on the defense side? Or are you on prosecution? Do you? What field?
So I took I wouldn't call it a non-traditional route because it's pretty traditional. I graduated, of course, last year in May.
Okay.
And I sat for the July 2025 bar exam. Throughout that process, I wanted to take on an opportunity that would give me some courtroom experience, increase and enhance my legal writing skills and legal research skills. So my current position is a judicial law clerk. You work in the backgrounds with a set of judges or a judge, and you do most of the the legwork.
Right.
I currently do that.
Different cases and things
so
like
I
that.
See a variety of cases,
Yeah.
Draft up motions, rulings, and things of that nature, just to help the judge if there's anything going on with different issues that he or she hasn't seen before. Then I'm there in the shadows to help assist with that. So right now I'm seeking my next job opportunity, and I have not yet decided which side I will be on, but I will say that sometimes the prosecutorial side takes a negative light, but I think it's what you make of it. There's a lot of discretion and wiggle room on that side of the V. So it's all about what you make it. Yes, of course. So you can make a lot of changes and differences from that side, but it's all about you and how you go about doing so. Because I've known plenty of prosecutors that, you know, were able to give second chances, third chances, you know, and help people out instead of railroading them per se. And then also you have defense. Of course, when I went to law school, I was dead smack on I'm going to be a defense attorney. Yes, so.
I tell you, that's a great one, Bridget Brown. She is, but you know, you see all of these hot shot lawyers and I think that Jasmine Crockett is an attorney.
I believe so.
And you can and you put me in the mind of a Jasmine Crockett that you want to make a difference.
Yes, sir.
You know, excellence is a word many people use, but what does excellent mean to you personally and professionally?
Personally, excellence just means thriving and striving through whatever. You know, you get through it. Life has its challenges. Nothing is perfect. It's never going to be perfect. But if you get out there and you keep moving, you keep pressing yourself and keep persevering, there's nowhere life can take personally, and that's what molds and creates excellence. It's like a diamond. You're going through the rough before you shine. So excellence is that's what excellence means to me. I'm getting out there and I'm working hard and I am sticking with it no matter what. And I created excellence for myself. Professionally, remaining professional, of course. Ethical. You have to be that fair. You know, that's what's going to separate you from a good attorney versus a great attorney, or a bad attorney versus a great attorney. I'm big on being ethical, practicing integrity,
and
being transparent.
Just expecting you move in that way. You know, and people see it. Again, I'll go back to Bridget Brown. When she walks in the courtroom, she demands that respect, you know, because they know that she's done her homework. You know, there's several other, even local attorneys that, you know, they know that to look bad.
Exactly. And that's what it's about. If you want to be good in this profession, it's about being prepared. You need to know your case up, down, back and forth. You don't ever want to go in there and feel like there was something that you didn't know or you weren't prepared for. Because then you will look bad.
Coming in there half cocked. I've seen it before.
Yeah, I have too.
And I'm looking like, man, I can't believe this guy representing this
honestly,
person.
I feel bad for them. I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, I don't think I would have wanted to come in, you know, feeling like that. Because once you get a bad rep for yourself, it's hard to come back from that. So,
you know, just recently, we saw a case play out in national television that the first thing I did is shook my head and said, meditation. And so here's a big one. Here's a big one that's gonna get us down into the really grit and grind thing. What were some of the biggest obstacles you faced on your journey to becoming an attorney? You mentioned it, so I'm gonna let you get down off it.
Well, life.
Yeah.
Life and its challenges.
Young folks say, I've been lifing.
Yeah, life has been lifing. But I would say life itself, I did take a non-traditional route. Mm-hmm. I worked full-time during law school. Wow. So that was challenging, working 8 hours a day and then going to school at night. God, I still don't know how I got through it, but I do. God. Life still went on, and as you elevate yourself and matriculate throughout a different journey from others that you have been around, that can present challenges itself. You start to lose people along the way of your journey. Everybody isn't meant to go in the same direction as you're going. When you're going up, some people you have to leave where they are. And I dealt, that was an obstacle that I had to face because I didn't want to think that I had to let people go to get to where I was going, but I did, because everybody isn't going to understand or respect what you have going on and understand the sacrifices that you need to make. Saying no to things and not showing up for certain things becomes a bit of a problem. Yes, because people don't understand that. All they see is that, oh, you're in school and that's it. And then they start to think, well, oh, you don't want to show up because you're in law school. You're thinking high. You're thinking better. Yeah, you're thinking too high of yourself, And it's not that. It's just that law school is challenging. It's
the grind.
It is. Yeah. It is. It's like no other educational journey I've ever taken before. When I was in undergrad, I was able, a little bit more and do a little bit more than I did. But once I got into law school, I was determined to not only go to law school just to go and say I did it, but to do well and excel in law school. I always had the goal of staying at the top of my class, making good grades. It wasn't about just getting in there and getting a grade to pass. It was about setting myself apart because when I enter into the profession, I want people to know that she went through law school. She excelled in law school. She prepared throughout law school. She made sacrifices, and I need them to understand that I'm willing to do so in entering into the profession as well.
Was there ever a moment when you doubted yourself or considered giving up?
Especially when I first got in, learning what they call legalese. It's a lot different. The writing style is far more different than just regular writing that you would do for English major class or something like that. So I did have self-doubts. I suffered with imposter syndrome all throughout law school. Even though in the back of my mind, I knew that I was capable of doing the things that I needed to do. And I knew that I was capable of doing good in law school. But there was always that part of my mind saying, well, am I really cut out for this? Because of different things that I would see or I would go through. And I'm like,
Well, that word you use, imposter syndrome.
Yes, just feeling like you don't belong. Imposter syndrome is just basically feeling like you're in a room or that you don't belong in. Yeah, you shouldn't be in there. And so I dealt with that because there was times where I'm like, what they call Socratic review. So they would put you on the spot. And sometimes I would sit in class and I'm listening to other people answer questions or give an analysis of what they think this specific law means or this rule of law means. And I'm like, well, I didn't take that from that. And so that was times where I felt like, well, maybe my understanding of the law isn't correct, and maybe, just maybe, I don't belong here. But then I had to tell myself, well, if you didn't belong here, you wouldn't have made it this far to begin with, So I kept pressing forward.
You get an opportunity, just like in seminary, we get different chain of thoughts and things like that. And so you're bouncing your station, and sometimes you land in the middle, and then sometimes you just flat out crash.
Yes.
You know. So, but we're gonna take a break here, and when we come back, because there are a lot of people who feel like they don't belong in the room. I know you in the segment, but I need you to speak to those who don't feel like they belong in the room, and we'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of folk
Just trying to take over your
because of where you come from,
Oh, yes, sir.
and things like that. You feel like, what am I doing here? I know I don't belong here. But if you didn't belong here, you wouldn't be here.
Exactly. God wouldn't have brought you to where you are if you weren't supposed to be there in the first place.
Pull up your what they call let's
whenever you feel like you don't belong, where you feel like you shouldn't be there, you show yourself and others why you should be. So,
and it ain't, listen, anything that's easy probably ain't worth having. You know, it's gonna cost you time, talent, and training, and you got to know the folk that you're gonna meet along the way that you call friends. And if you put them in the wrong position, and it's up to us to position them, they a lot of confidence. A confidant,
yes, sir.
you can't find a lot of them.
At
But
all.
we try to put everybody in constituents. You telling them all your business. You know. And we are back. Y'all. Attorney Johnson, I want you to speak to those people who are listening to us that have felt like or feel like right now that they don't belong in the room.
So, for anybody who does not feel like you belong in the room, as I stated previously, you wouldn't be somewhere if you didn't belong there. I come from a poverty-stricken black background. My grandmother took me in here in Natchitoches and raised me so that I could become what I am today. I didn't come from a cherry-picked type of background. I got bullied as a child throughout most of my grade school years. And I could have very well allowed that to spill over into adulthood and stop me from reaching my greatest potential. And this is also speaking to our youth. You know, don't feel like what you're going through or where you are, how you're raised, what you're going through in your household, what you're going through at school, do not feel like that is something that's going to stop you from being whatever you desire to be. When I was in school, I knew that I wanted to be an attorney. I always knew that the goal was to be an attorney. But life had its challenges, and I could have very well taken all of the negative and used it as a way to, as an excuse for not doing what I knew I wanted to do, or use it as an excuse to say, well, hey, I came from attorneys in my family. I know no one to speak to, like, you know.
So there's nobody just
not
right
in my,
around
not
you.
in my immediate
Right.
family that's around me.
Right.
A lot. No one is an attorney. I'm the first one. So I could have very well looked at that and said, well, nobody else is doing it, so I don't know if I can do it. But there was someone who had to do it, and I was that someone to do it.
So we're like friends, because I know how sometimes our friends are actually masquerading as a friend, but they really enemies. And so, you know, did you ever, like Joseph, did you ever tell him your dreams and things like that? Or you just moved in silence?
I did tell them my dreams, goals and aspirations, and that's when you start to realize who's your friends.
Yeah.
The ones who believe in you and who support you. Most of the time, you can say that if they truly believe in you and support you, you can't say that is a friend. But you'll have others that'll kind of give you some negative.
Oh yeah, and sometimes
feedback.
It ain't what they say;
It's
what they don't say.
What they don't say and how they say
and
it.
how they say it.
And sometimes they won't say anything. Silence is
Right.
a good indicator of.
Yeah.
I may have a little bit of jealousy over here because
Right.
I'm not saying anything about it. And how I dealt with that is I'm like, God will reveal in due time.
Yeah.
You know, it's not left up to me to pick or probe or pry and figure out if you're truly there. If I didn't have a problem with expressing my dreams and my goals because I've always been humble at the end of the day, and I've always thought to myself, well, this shouldn't rub anybody the wrong way, knowing where I came from and how hard I had to work to get to where I am today and how humble I am in it. So I didn't find that it would rub people the wrong way, but I mean, over time I found out that it would, you know.
Listen.
People start to think, like you said, oh, she thinks she all that, she in law school, you know. So I got it all.
Well,
but
see, I look at you when you carry yourself, and I say, boy, she's confident.
yes, sir.
But let me tell you something. Everybody don't look that way. When Bridget came on here, I told her, I said, you do know you arrogant, don't you? And she looked at me. But I said it because she's so confident. But I heard him say it about my son. And I had to defend my son because not only that, there was a white teacher who overheard the conversation in the break room with other teachers talking about how arrogant and how this he was. And the white teacher stood up and said, well, why can't he be confident like y'all just said this other young man was confident? They said, oh, well, he's cocky and arrogant, you know. But I see you as confident and purpose-driven, that wants, that they see your glory, but they don't know your story.
Amen to that.
And so you're here today. You know, you talked a little bit about how to resolve. Talk a little bit more about that, you know.
Okay. So, like I stated, I did come from a poverty-stricken background. My mother had me at a very young age, the tender age of 15.
Yeah.
And in that, it came with drawbacks because she had my siblings shortly thereafter. She had me. So my mother had 3 of us probably before she reached or at the age of 21.
Wow.
So
That's a big responsibility.
Yes, I did take on the responsibility, the big sister, more like mother role. So in that, it was a lot of me taking care of my siblings and making sure they succeed and excel in school, but it was putting myself on the back burner.
Right.
So when I first came here, transparency, when I first came here, I came with a report card that had mainly D's and F's. And the first thing my grandmother asked me, she was like, well, how did you manage to make it through all these grades with grades like this? And, I'm like, and it wasn't that I was not capable of making the grades. It was because I was taking the time to sacrifice my own look out for my siblings to make sure they, you know, I get them up for school, get them dressed, do their hair, make sure they're fed for dinner.
You grew up quick.
Yes, yes.
You stepped into a role that really you didn't have an opportunity. Right. Well, here's the other thing. How did your faith, family, mentors, and community support play in helping you to achieve your goals?
Nothing that I have today, and nothing that I will have, and nowhere that I'm going, I will be able to go without God. So I remained steadfast in my faith, even when there were times where it was hard to do so, you know, because you do have, everyone, you're human, you're going to have those days where you start to waver a little bit, and then you have to remind yourself, no, you know, that's just the devil trying to take over your mind and make you feel as though, well, God's not doing enough for you.
Right.
When in actuality, he is. My grandmother is my biggest support system, but I have a lot of family that supports me, and they were supportive throughout my whole matriculation of law school. They thank God they were very understanding when it came down to me separating myself and sacrificing when it was time for finals or time for major exams. But like I said, my grandmother, that's my rock. That's my girl.
I can feel it.
She, like, I owe a lot to her. I feel like, even though she tells me that I don't, but when you have someone that's in your corner that has believed in you from the start of things, even when no one else was, or everyone else had doubts about where you would get because of where you came from, she was there to tell me, you will be. Like, don't let people think that you won't be. So, friends, I can't say this enough. It was very important to have that support system going throughout law school, from friends, family, and, but in those dark times where I wanted to cry, and I met a very great friend during law school that kept me very grounded. She's still my friend today. We were a lot like each other, so we hung on to each other a lot throughout that process. And she also dealt with some of the things that I dealt with growing up. So we were able to resonate with one another in different capacities. And I just, like I said, I just thank God that I did have support. When days were rough and everything was cloudy, I could pick up the phone and share how I felt to either a family member or a friend, and tell them, you know, hey, I don't know if this is for me. And they're like, no, like, not you, not you, not the person that advocates for everybody, not the person that will speak up when you need to speak up. No, you don't belong in there. You need to do what you need to do. So,
yeah. That's, you know, you come from upholding the law. You know, the bad guys, arresting them and things like that, to now either fighting for them or saying, hey, look, you got arrested, I'm finna send you to jail, you know.
Hey.
Come to the letter. Come to the letter, you have violated code so and so, you know.
Lord. And I get asked that all the time. Oddly enough, even when I'm going through interviews in this profession, they ask me that. Well, how did you? So it's
no military?
No military experience.
Wow.
Just I graduated from Northwestern, and then I went into probation and parole. In Shreveport first, and then here in Natchitoches. So,
my.
And then after that, I worked as armed security for years. Even my first year of law school, I worked as an armed security officer. Once I left probation and parole, at Oshner LSU in Shreveport.
Oh, Jamie was over security.
Yes.
Head of security.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my boy there.
And I did that, and then I kept up with it for about my first year of law school. I was able to transfer to the Oshner in Baton Rouge.
Okay.
So, no military experience, just law enforcement.
And you were able to, you know, many people experience setbacks and failure. How do you view failure as a defeat or as a learning opportunity?
I view failure as a learning opportunity. If you fail in something, it's not to say that you will fail at it again. It's just it gives you the opportunity to learn from your mistakes or your errors. Mm-hmm. Take whatever criticism you get from that, and you go back into the lab and you figure it out. So when you come back the next time, you will have it and you will not fail at it. So if people took failure as a defeat, which they do, but if I allowed failure to be a thing of defeat for me, there's no way I could be someone's attorney.
Right.
You know,
right,
there's
right.
absolutely no way, because you're going to take losses sometimes.
Right. Yeah, you get back up and
dust yourself off.
Right. You say, we're going to appeal it. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, we may have lost at the trial level, but let's see what we'll make it at the appellate level.
Yeah.
There's higher courts.
Yeah,
and so you have to...
Take a break, but when we come back, I want you to share a specific setback that you can brag about the comeback.
Now is the time to move into 5
I always say that don't use your failures to be a crutch.
Oh yeah, and people use it all
But
the time.
use it as a handlebar, that you can pull up from it. Yeah.
I have the perfect failure that's leading back into my really what drove me into law school, but we will discuss that setback in a minute.
Yeah. Folks think that people like coming to your pity party. Shoot, they got their own pity party. You can throw it, but I'm a living witness. Ain't nobody coming. Yeah.
We all going through something.
Right.
Hey, you cannot sit there and wallow in misery.
Got a pity party that I'm throwing tomorrow.
I cannot.
Got my own pity party that I invited some folks that they didn't come to.
I'm trying to get out of my pity.
Right. See, a person who don't have setbacks is a person who ain't doing nothing. Get up in the morning and sleep all day and then go to sleep again. It's in a cycle, vicious cycle.
Moses and Francis Funeral Home, here for you with heart.
And we are back with Attorney Johnson. So what specific setback that you can share with our audience that you made a comeback?
So the specific setback that I can share, which is also I think the greatest setback that as we discussed earlier, I worked as a probation and parole officer.
Yes.
I started in Shreveport. I did 17 weeks of police academy, and then I came back and I worked about a month in Shreveport. I got a call to come work at the Natchitoches office when I got back from police academy. My first mind told me no, but then I called and asked around, and it was you could come back home, help out home, and it was maybe you should stay in Shreveport. This was mine. So I came here and I worked for roughly a month, and then I was let go.
Wow.
I was terminated.
Wow.
Without reason. I have my speculations on what I believe it to be.
Yeah.
I was a young black female, new into that specific career field, and I came in with a purpose of learning and getting my job done, and not to frolic and congregate with people. We're here for a job, and I felt like that was an issue.
Right.
And when I spoke up about it, saying like, hey, I am not going to become the officer that I want to be if I'm not getting proper training.
Right.
And so I knew then, I was like, well, that mouth might get you in trouble, because
that goes right along with what's about to happen.
That didn't go over too well. So by the time I had that conversation on Thursday, I walked in on Monday morning and I was let go.
Yeah.
And
yes, ma'am, Miss Jasmine.
I felt very defeated at the time. I was like, these people officer.
Yeah.
I came in and cleaned up a lot of stuff on a caseload that wasn't mine to begin with, but and I just felt really defeated at the time because when I first got into that profession, I had set aside my dream of law school because I can elevate myself in this career path.
God has a way.
God had to make me uncomfortable because I had become too comfortable. So he said, all right, we're going to shake some stuff up.
Right.
And so I got fired. And I spent countless months and years trying to fight for my job back.
Wow.
And
your name, your
my
honor.
name, my reputation. I didn't want that for me. And granted, they gave me the opportunity to resign or, of course, be terminated. But when we're looking at the aspect of,
oh no, that ain't happening like
that. I'm like, no, y'all are trying to do me really, really bad.
Yeah.
So I took that and I said, you know what? Because I had taken the LSAT once at that point, and I never looked back at it because I had become comfortable where I was working, and I thought that's where I belonged. So a year or so trying to fight for my job back, and going to higher chains, sending emails, talking with attorneys about what I could do to possibly bring some type of wrongful termination suit, back and forth. I finally said, you know what? I could do this to help people that will ultimately may face the same type of situation that I just faced. And someone has to be there to advocate for them in that capacity. Like, I didn't have anyone to take on, and I documented a lot of stuff that happened from the time I got to that office to the time I was let go. So I had my ducks in a row, but everyone isn't able to take on when it comes to attacking employers. So I knew then, hey, it's time for me to get back in gear and study for this LSAT again. And don't get me wrong, I took the LSAT 3 times before I got a score that I was comfortable enough with applying for law school, because law schools do look at that. I did have a good GPA for undergrad, but you nothing without that LSAT score. I took the LSAT and I got into law school. I grinded it out. I did very well. I graduated, took the bar, passed it my first time.
Wow.
And what better comeback?
Come on.
I was like, y'all got rid of me.
Come on, y'all throw some lights up right there. That ain't no easy task at all.
It's not. So I was like, well, y'all did get rid of me, and at the time it may have seemed like, oh well, we've stuck it to it.
And listen, what people don't understand is, had they given you a reason for termination, you could fight it easier than when you can fire a person for no reason at all.
Yeah, this is an at-will state.
At-will state, but when you start telling them, well, this is why I fired you, and just now you opening a can of worms, because now I got something to fight with, So, but that is a great comeback right there. What advice would you give the young people who feel discouraged because they're a brick wall,
Don't let it determine your outcome.
Come on.
You will hit more than one brick wall.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be the only one that you hit, but do not let it be determinative of what you're going to achieve in the future. Don't let it stop any type of opportunities. If there's something that you're going after, continue to go after it. Hit the wall.
Yeah.
Get up. Dust yourself off. Put a Band-Aid over it. Whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
And keep it moving. Because all of that you're facing and going through is just fuel to add to your fire to get you to where you're going.
Right.
Where God used everything as fuel to my fire. You either gonna take it and use it as a crutch, like we said, or you're gonna use it as a handlebar to continue to lift yourself up. Use it as a handlebar. And that's what I'll have to say on that.
Well, listen, we're going to take another break, and we're going to come back. And when we come back, I want to talk about, how to handle criticism, rejection, and disappointments without allowing it to. Anything you want to. Are we going?
No, we're going in a good direction. Yes,
I want you to be able, because this is. We want to spotlight you.
Yes, sir.
And the achievement that you've made and things. So now, did you pledge at Northwestern, or did you pledge in?
I pledged the grad chapter here in Natchitoches.
Okay.
I was in law school during the time that I pledged. I was in my second year, so it was a lot of
Jesus.
yeah.
My.
There was a lot of back and forth, and oh Jesus, yeah.
I'm gonna take y'all to court for what y'all doing to me.
Exactly. I'm like, look, this should be illegal.
Law school trying to get. I'm trying to get up out of here. Shut.
Here I am trying.
Ski-wee.
It was tough. Oh my goodness.
Yes, it did.
Would not recommend doing that during law school, but I mean, I got through it.
Yes, it did. So what we say? We were laughing too much. Criticisms and rejections and disappointments that had could have derailed you. How do you handle that?
I take everything with a grain of salt, but going back into that fuel, as a young black female, I'm already facing a lot of criticism.
Yeah.
A lot of rejection,
Yeah.
We're minorities.
Yeah.
We're minorities.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot of
female
black, not a lot of black female attorneys.
Yeah.
We make up a very, very, very small percentage of attorneys in the United States.
Yeah.
And with that, I face criticism of the number one thing is that she's young and she's black, so she doesn't know anything.
Right.
But to kill that, I'm always prepared. Sometimes I'm over prepared.
Right.
And so when you see me, and I carry myself, I'm very confident in myself, and that. Yeah. So when I walk into the room, you're going to know my presence.
Yeah.
So while you may criticize me, when I open my mouth and I say what I need to say,
right.
the criticism should go out of the window.
Yeah. You got that Maya Angelou syndrome.
Look, so
yeah.
And rejection, I get it. I mean, I get it a lot. I recently dealt with situations of a job, and kind of, I think to soften the blow of rejection, sometimes you have to be realistic about things and prepare yourself for that rejection. Job interviews, in the process of finding a new job in this profession as a young black female in an area where there is more of a dominance of white attorneys.
Right.
I prepare myself, and I kind of already set in my mind that this is a possibility.
Right.
So when I walk into these interviews, while I do know that I'm very capable, and I do know that I'm very qualified for the job.
Right.
I tell myself, at the end of the day, you're still young, you're still black, you're still a female, and there are going to be some spaces where people are not going to allow you in.
That's right.
And I dealt with that in an interview. I interviewed for a boutique law firm, and it was an all-white law firm. So in the back of my mind, I knew that I was overly qualified. I've done countless of daily pleadings and filings dealing with this. I pretty much, it's successions work, if y'all know about successions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can do it in my sleep. So I knew that I was qualified.
Right.
And I would be an asset to their firm. But I also knew after I left out of that interview, I said, I don't believe I'm going to get this job.
Right.
Because I knew I didn't fit into the culture of their things. I wasn't going to fit into what the box that they needed.
So that leads me to this question. How can people maintain confidence when circumstances surrounding you working against you?
Know yourself. Know your worth.
Yeah.
And upsell it. Upsell it.
Yeah.
Know your worth and add on to that.
Yeah.
Times it by 10 if you have to. And just always be prepared for what's to come in any profession. Not just mine alone. Whatever you're doing, be prepared.
Right.
And do it and be good at it. Don't shortcut. Don't shortchange yourself. Don't try to take the easy way out.
Right.
Do it the way that it needs to be done, regardless of how hard and how tough it is. That's why I am as confident as I am, because I know that I didn't shortchange anything in anything that I've done. I've worked hard at it. I am adamant on that. I will keep saying that. No one can take that away from me. And when no one can take something away from you, you will always be confident. So do things in a way that no one will be able to come for you and take that away from you. And you will carry that confidence in every room you go into. I don't care where you're at. You could be in a room where there's a bunch of people who don't look like you, who don't act like you, and you may feel uncomfortable at first. But I know that they'll never be able to take away how hard I've worked. They'll never be able to take away the ranking that I've built for myself. They'll never be able to take away the accolades that I achieved while I was in law school. None of that stuff you will ever be able to take away from me.
Yeah. Well, I really hope my child will be 28 July the 1st, and I hope she's listening to this, because she's in a field that a lot of blacks, especially female, thank God for my big sister, Miss Mahoney. Her daughter was one of my daughter's mentors. But hearing you talk about don't lose confidence. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. This is what we call the lightning round.
Okay.
One word that describes your journey.
Ooh.
One word.
One word that describes my journey.
That describes your journey. Think about your favorite motivational quote.
Okay, well,
it's a lightning round.
I have that.
Okay.
My favorite motivational quote is what I said earlier.
Okay.
Be the change you want to see.
Oh, wow.
We all rant about what's happening. We all up social media in an uproar about a multitude of things. And we want to see change, but we're not doing anything to change it.
Come on. Yeah.
We're just talking.
Yeah.
We're just talking.
Come on, get in the game. Yeah, put me in.
Put me in the field on the front line.
Yeah.
I will be the change that I want to see. I want to see change, but in that, I need to get in it.
Yeah.
Dive deep into it.
Yeah.
I think my journey, the one word for my journey would be perseverance.
Perseverance. So. Yeah. Good word. One person who inspires you the most.
One person who inspires me the most is this like professionally?
Professionally, just who that you can depend on that inspires you the most.
Well, professionally, I have have a mentor that I worked with prior to law school, and I still speak to him to this very day.
Great.
And he's always pushed me and always has, encouraged me and motivated me as well. Attorney Conde.
Hey, I
Howard
was going to
Conde.
mention that name.
So,
I was going to mention him.
yes,
He,
such an inspiration.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He's always prepared.
Oh, definitely.
Always prepared.
Definitely.
So he's confident when he walks
Yes,
into
indeed.
the courtroom. He pushed me to let my son go to Howard University, and I was like, man, look. I dropped him off and I said, look, I ain't looking back to D.C. But that's great professional
Yes.
inspiration.
Yes.
What about, what does success mean to you?
Success means to me,
That's
getting
that
up.
law.
It is. We gotta overanalyze everything.
That's that law. Yeah.
So success to me is honestly just staying in the game. Regardless, staying in the game.
Yeah.
Or remaining in the fight,
Yeah,
until the fight is over. Staying in there, fighting back, continuing to fight, so you can't give up. And that's real success comes from setbacks. Real
Right.
success comes from drawbacks. Real success comes from life challenges. Take it, eat it all up, and grow. It's like Popeye.
Right.
That's the spinach.
Yeah.
You eat the spinach and
right,
you grow
that's right.
stronger, and you're going to be successful. Taking your failures and turning them into victories. Taking criticism and not allowing it to anger you or make you mad or think less than of the person who has given you the criticism or the
Right.
critique. We do that all the time, and I used to find my way in areas like that, and be willing to learn every single day, continuing to
Every
learn.
day,
There's
yeah.
never enough knowledge, and knowledge is power.
Yes, indeed.
So I don't know everything, and I will never make it out to be that I do.
That's right.
Now,
right. We got to stay green. We got to stay growing. We can't
Yes.
become ripe, because the only other stage that you can become after ripe is rotten.
Rotten, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that success is just continue to move through, and you'll only build up.
Here's the other one. Here's the other one that we
Fast.
at. What legacy do you hope to leave behind? Now we're gonna mark this down, because 20 years from now, we gonna come back and say, this is what you said.
Well, don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. I'll give you a lawyer-like answer if I need to look at the things, but no. Seriously, really and truly, I just want to. The legacy I want to leave, honestly, is that she, a trailblazer, that came from a small town, literally came from nothing, and made her way into something. And I want people to be able to see me on billboards one day and say, if she could do it, I can.
Yeah. That's awesome. Listen, I often say, I want to leave this world empty. That I pulled everything I had out.
Amen to that.
Listen, Attorney Johnson.
Yes, sir.
If you could speak directly to every young person listening this morning who feels overlooked, underestimated, or discouraged, what would you tell them to help them keep moving forward?
Every young person that feels overlooked, underestimated, and discouraged. You are your biggest critic. You can also be your biggest downfall. if you allow yourself to be. Do not allow yourself to be. Work hard and continue to move forward. You're not overlooked. You just feel as though you are. And if find that avenue, whatever it is, and give them a reason to not overlook you.
Yes.
Give them a reason to not underestimate you. Give them a reason to feel as though you are exactly who you feel like you are.
Yeah.
And as far as discouraging and defeat, like I said, we're our biggest critics. We beat ourselves up. Set realistic goals for yourself. That's going to take you far, and that's going to kill that discouragement feeling or that discouraging spirit. Because when you set unrealistic goals, they're almost never attainable.
Right.
And so, of course, the clouds of self-doubt begin to enter into your mind. And now you're discouraged and you want to give up on yourself. But you can't do that. Set realistic goals for yourself and know that those goals that you set, I can achieve those. No matter what someone else is telling me. If they tell you you can't, you show them and you tell them that I can.
Yes.
And that will take you so far. And let go of negative energy. If it's negative, do not let it be around you.
That's right.
Misery loves company. And that is a true statement. So keep negative energy away from you. And that if it's negative friends, let them go. If it's negative family, it may hurt you, but let them go. Because you need all the positive light and the positive energy to continue to push you forward and fuel you up, because there's going to be enough negative energy coming from the outside.
Yes,
Enough
indeed.
negativity coming from the
indeed.
outside. You don't need it on the inside.
My dad would always say this, son, you can't do nothing about a bird flying over your head, but you don't have to let them make a nest in it. And so I say this in closing: success is not measured by how many times you fall, but by how many times you rise, learn, and continue to move forward.
Amen.
Juneteenth, gonna have a good weekend. God bless you all. God
Happy
keep you.
Juneteenth.
In
And let
my
me give
prayer.
a shout out to my cousin before we leave, because she invited me. Thank you so much to Benita Moses for inviting me to be on today's segment. I thoroughly
Bless you.
enjoyed this conversation with
Bless
Pastor
you.
Harris. Happy Juneteenth.
Yes, indeed. Is that number or anything that you want to give out? Anything? Not your
Not
number.
yet.
Not your
Not yet. But to anyone who's watching, look.
That's a good one right there. Listen, God bless you. God keep you in my prayer. I love you, and you can't do nothing about it.
That
I
was
know
good.
you're right.
I gotta give them my Google Voice number, because you start giving them your personal number. Jesus Christ.
You want to talk about everything?
Oh, they'll call you too.
You got a soror. Her name is Babel. She's from Shreveport.
Okay.
What's her name? Babel. Anyway, she went to Southern too, law school.
Okay. I may have. Is she still in the Shreveport area?
She may be.
I'm just now that I'm in court every day. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What's up? Anyway, Claude introduced me to her. We did a few programs, expungements and things like that for our congregations and things.
Yeah. I do want to bring some of that back into the community, helping with expungements, also helping with like succession work,
right.
estates and things. That's very important. It's important here,
especially in our community.
Yeah. We're an older community.
I tell you, we may want to hook up, because I've got a workshop coming up by which we they got the, like a person get ready for a funeral. It's got everything laid out so that you keep this, so you can help your loved ones not have to make decisions